Welcome friends, and let us start with some more discussion for questions on the residential status. Please come to this particular page. This is your page number, friends. You have already continued with my previous class, so page number is already known to you. Come to question ID number 14. So this particular question, okay. Let me read this particular question and thereafter we will discuss, okay. Mr. X, a foreign citizen, not being a person of Indian origin, comes to India for the first time in the last 30 years on March 20, 2010. On September 1, 2010, he leaves India for Nepal on a business trip and he comes back on February 26, 2011. Determine the residential status for the assessment year 2011 and 12. Good question, friends. Go through this particular question and take your own time and be very comfortable. I mean, there is no complication as such, but mind well, questions in this particular chapter requires presence of mind and very much a chance of doing silly mistakes. So that should be avoided. Okay. So go ahead, give the first reading, friends, of this particular question, and after that I will try. Okay. X is a foreign citizen, not a person of Indian origin, comes to India for the first time. See, this kind of language, no, wherever it is printed in the question, comes to India for the first time, who leaves India for the first time, something like that. So it has a logical implication that because he is coming to India for the first time, that means before coming, he was already outside India. So that kind of understanding that we should have it, because the question has said that it is, he is coming to India for the first time in last 30 years on March 20, 2010. Okay. And on September 1, 2010, he leaves India. So he goes away for Nepal business trip, and then is coming back also on 26 February. And for the assessment year, that means for the previous year ending 2010-11, you have to find out the residential status. And friends, I have already told you that questions will always print you that you calculate this residential status for the assessment year. But always, friends, you got to think like that it should be for the previous year. Because all the number of days stay and everything, it is with respect to the previous year. So number of days stay in the previous year. That kind of law is there. Okay. So you got to be careful on that particular front. Okay. So for 10-11. Okay. Now he is coming to India for the first time in last 30 years on March 20, 2010. Okay. So 20th of March of 2010 to 31st of March 2010. He is inside India. This will be your previous year 9-10. Okay. Then on September 1, he is leaving India. That means 1st April 2010 to 1st September 2010. He is inside India, but this will be your previous year 10-11. This is his number of days stay in India. Then he has left. Then he again comes back on February 26. So 26 February 2011 to 31st of March 2011. This will again be previous year 10-11 only. So in previous year 10-11, he has got 2 visits. Okay. Determine the residential status for the assessment year 11-12, that means previous year 10-11. So this is your relevant previous year for which you are doing the calculations. That's okay. So during the previous year, you got 2 stay or 2 visit. That way you can say. And I've already told you also in my previous class that his, visit in India. That means his stay in India can be anywhere. I mean, for a few months he may stay in Delhi and then he may go to Chennai and then he may come to Mumbai. So all those situations are okay. So those complications are not there. His stay in India is actual physical stay in India. Okay. So this is your previous year data and this is your before year data. And before your data, etc. He comes to India only for the first time. So before that, he is not in India. So you can take before that as nil. That's okay. So let's go ahead and develop the answer slowly. Okay. Question ID number 14. Question ID number 14. So your previous year is 10-11. Before year will be 9-10. 8-9. 7-8. 6-7. So on and so forth. Okay. So for this previous year, what you require is a stay in India. That is required by you. Then you have to test the conditions. Conditions A or B. Condition A, stay in India during the previous year should be greater than or equal to 182 days, or stay in India during the previous year should be greater than or equal to 60 days. Stay in India during 4 years preceding the previous year should be greater than or equal to 365 days. This is how you have to develop. All these conditions you have to test, and this is AND. Okay. And once you have already tested this, thereafter you have to write a conclusion. And you have to take the decision whether you are resident, non-resident, or something like that. Okay. But before that, we have to do that calendar work and you have to find out that how many number of days stay in India. Is that okay? So calculation of number of days stay in India. Previous year 9-10. Previous year 10-11. In 9-10 he is present 20th of March 2010 to 31st of March 2010. Day of entry. I repeat, day of entry and the day of exit. Both of them is always included as a stay in India. So, say for example, day of entry, you stayed in India maybe only for say 20 hours. So, you don't have to think about that hourly calculation. Keep this in mind, it's a simple thumb rule. Okay. And for 2011, he has got a stay 1st April 2010 to 1st September 2010. That is visit number 1. One visit. And the second visit is 26 February 2011 to 31st of March 2011. That is his second visit. And before your 9-10, you can call it as a nil number of days because he came to India only for the first time. Correct? No? Correct. So, firstly, previous year 9-10, he has got 12 days stay in India. So, 20th of March, that is already included. Okay. So, March is 31 days. So 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31st. 12 days. Day of entry is included for the purpose of calculation. Okay. Now previous year 10, 11, April, May, June, July, August and September. Calendar work. See, you can do it on a knuckles. January, February, March, April, May, June. If it is a mountain, it is 31 days. Okay. So January, February, March, April. April will be 30 days. Similarly, April, May 31st, June 30, July 31st, August is again 31st and September is only 1 day. Because on 1st September he is going to Nepal. Correct. And then is coming back somewhere in February. So you have February and you have March. So February is 3 days, 26, 27 and 28. And March is 31 days. Okay, so take the total. This is 154 days and this is 34 days. Total is 188 days. Absolutely clear? You have already got, friends, the number of days stay with respect to both the years, and let us put that particular into our mainstream. So this is your 188 days. Then this is your 12 days. And this is nil, nil, nil. And even earlier years than B5, B6, B7, everywhere, friends, is going to be nil only. So I'm not repeating that thing. Let me go back and read the question and see whether I have missed out something here. Okay, so recheck the question. Foreign citizen comes to India for the first time, so that I have already considered in last 30 years. So before that 30 years we have seen here all these things. But then on March 20, here see one of the silly mistake that students can do, I'm just telling you. This is March 20 of 2010. So you have to calculate number of days stay with respect to previous year. So you have to have a cutoff at the year end. Okay, so March 20 to March 31st. That many number of days stay will go in the first previous year. And then from 1st April, your next previous year starts. So that mistake you should not do. Okay. And then for these assessment here, this is also one question trick only, because question will always print the assessment here. So you have to convert for understanding purpose previous year 10-11. So question is asking you find out the residential status for the previous year 10-11. That is how you have to understand the residential status, right? So that's it. So now let's update our answer here. So this is your 188 days. This is 188 days, and for preceding year is going to be like 12 plus nil plus nil plus nil. Okay, so condition A is satisfied. Condition B is not satisfied. But anyone has to be satisfied. No, A or B. That we have already understood in so many previous class also, friends. So now conclusion. Since A is satisfied, the assessee is resident in India. Because condition A is satisfied. So you can also write this way by virtue of condition A of section 6. That also you can write if you want to write. Okay. Now, moment you are resident in India, you have to check the resident and ordinarily resident test. But question like this, those additional conditions can be tested orally only. See, 7 years, the preceding 7 years you want 730 days test. Now look at this. It is only 12. 12 nil 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 nil. Where is the question of 730 days coming into picture? But you just have to write a comment. You have to write a comment, okay? But you don't need to do that now detailed calculation for that 7 years and you need to show in a question like this. It is not very much required. Okay, so we can go ahead and straight away write a statement. What additional conditions? Additional conditions. He does not satisfy 1 and 2 additional conditions and thus resident and not ordinarily resident. This is how you have to understand. Resident and not ordinarily resident. Because, see, as per our understanding, I'll tell you, resident, non-resident. If you are a resident, then you have to test further. Okay, so resident and ordinarily resident if 1 and 2 is satisfied. Otherwise, you are resident, not ordinarily resident. That is your balancing situation. This is your residential status of individual. Because all this discussion, friends, that we are doing is with respect to individual. Okay. So that's all. Let's go to the next question now. Question ID number 15. Okay. Let me read the question. X, an Indian citizen who is appointed as a senior taxation officer by the government of Nigeria, leaves India for the first time on September 26, 2010 after joining his duties in Nigeria. During the previous year 11-12, he comes to India for 176 days. Determine the residential status of X for the assessment year 11-12 and 12-13. So it is multiple year question. You have to determine his residential status for 2 years, 11-12 and 12-13. And this is also a good conceptual question, marked as an important question. Why particularly I am telling you a question like this? Because it tests your knowledge of that concept of condition B being not functional. This question is based on this particular concept, friends, which I have already discussed. This one, see. Because he is a person of Indian origin and he is going outside for the purpose of employment. Some government of Nigeria is employing him. So this is a concept that we have already studied, that for him, for a gentleman like this, people of Indian origin or a citizen of India, you don't have to apply this condition B logically. That way condition is applicable, friends. But even if you apply the condition, it is equal to a condition. So ultimately answer will remain the same. So people have accepted by the interpretation of the law that in such a situation, condition B is not functional. That means logically not applicable. Legally though it is applicable, of course. So come back to the question. Have a check. Indian citizen, senior taxation officer by government of Nigeria. So he is going for the employment. So this senior taxation officer is like your employment. It can be any form of employment, right? I mean, he is going there for some work. He is not going there to meet his girlfriend. He is not doing it that way. Alright. Okay. And he leaves India for the first time. The first time he is leaving India on September 26, 2010. So he is leaving for the first time. So what will happen is 1st April 2010 to 26 September 2010, he is inside India. Because day of entry and day of exit is included as inside India. So on 26 September he left. But that day he is inside India. because some part of that particular day is inside India. Okay, this is going to be your previous year, what should I say, 10, 11. Okay, and during the previous year 11, 12, so previous year 11, 12, he comes to India for 176 days. So 176 days is ready-made, printed and given to you. So you don't need to do that calendar work. And you have to determine the residential status of this gentleman for 2 years. So for one particular year, you have to do calendar work. And for one another year, you will have to straight away take the number of days stay. Okay, so let us put this particular question in our answer format, baby. Question ID number 15. You have previous year 11, 12. Okay. Then you have previous year 10, 11. You have previous year 9, 10, 8, 9, 7, 8, whatever. 6, 7. I mean, I'm just doing this for your students' purpose, friends. You need not do all this writing in the examination condition in such a way. I mean, so you can straight away jump to the conclusions in examination condition by writing theoretical notes. Okay. But for your better understanding, I'm doing it like this. And even if you do it like this in exam, nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. Huh? If you do it like this, and this is the way you can write answer in the examination condition. Okay. There's nothing wrong in that. But this will cost you a little bit of extra time. So if you are speeding enough, then it's okay. Otherwise, you yourself has to cut short in terms of concept, keeping in mind your time cost. Okay. So previous year 11, 12, stay in India. This is already given to us as 176 days, ready-made. Okay. And for previous year 10, 11, you have to do the calendar work. Okay. So for 10, 11, his dates are 1st April 2010 to September, which September it is, 26th of September 2010. He is inside India. So we'll have April, May, June, July, August, September. April is 30 days, May 31, June 30, July 31, August 31 and September is 26 days. In the given question. So how much is the total number of days? Is going to be 179 number of days. Just calculate. Use your calculator. And before all the he is inside India. Because he is leaving the country for the first time. So before this particular years, he is already inside India. Actually, we don't need all this kind of data in a question like that. We don't need it only. But only for your better understanding, I have done it. Okay. Condition A or B. But B is not functional. Okay. So now I'm not writing that condition detail because I've already discussed that not functional concept very well with you in my previous class. And condition A. Stay in India during the previous year should be greater than or equal to 182 days. Okay. Same thing for the previous year 10, 11 also. Condition A or B. B is not functional. And when it comes to A, stay in India during the previous year greater than or equal to 182 days. Now you have to, friends, compare your actual number of days stay with respect to this 182 number of days. And I will write one small theory note also why that this is not functional, so that I don't miss out anything in the examination condition. Okay. So this is 176 days. And this is 179 days. So here non-resident because he is not satisfying the condition. Here also non-resident because he is not satisfying the condition A in the given case, and the B is not functional because he was person of Indian origin and he went to Nigeria for the purpose of employment. For them, condition B is not applicable. Okay. Okay. So let me write a theoretical answer now. Where a person of Indian origin or a citizen of India, where a person of Indian origin or a citizen of India goes abroad for the purpose of employment or as a ship crew, where a person of Indian origin, citizen of India goes abroad for the employment or as a ship crew, then in condition B, instead of 60 days, 182 days are substituted. Logically, B becomes equal to A, so B is not functional. In the question, does not satisfy condition A for both the years, and thus is non-resident. Come on, friends, update your answer. Friends, in the given case, it's not that condition B is not up. Even if you apply the condition B, answer will be the same. And that's the reason it is called as not functional. So have a final look of your answer. How does it look like? Come on, check it out. And because the condition B is not functional, no, that's the reason that previous 4 years and all that data we have not analyzed. We're not required to be analyzed. Is that okay? Come on, let's go to the next question and let's check it out. Question ID number 16. Let me read the question, friends. X is a foreign citizen, not being a person of Indian origin. Since 1981, he visits India every year in the month of April for 100 days. Find out the residential status of X. Find out the residential status of X. It's a good, what should I say, examination type question. Good, this thing was just a 2-line question, but you got to do a lot of working. And you just understand logical aspect of a question like this. Sometimes question will tell you that every year he comes for 80 days. Some question is 110 days or something like that. Never ask a question to this guy that why you are coming for exact 100 days. That's so he's only such a person in question. In real life, it's very difficult to find people like this. Exact 100 days and always coming in the month of April. Maybe he's got a girlfriend in India. To meet girlfriend in India is coming. You don't know why for so many years, every year, and that too exact 100 days you are coming. What the hell? Why are you coming? Don't ask these questions. So in examination condition, friends, don't question the question, you have to answer the question, okay? So don't develop that kind of tendency. He is there, it's printed in the question. So every year he comes. So previous year 100 is coming, before year, before year, before year, before year, every year he is coming 100, 100, 100. How this kind of question should be interpreted? Just understand. Okay. Now previous year he is come for 100 days. So condition A though will not be satisfied because condition A is like 182 days. So that's not going to be satisfied. Okay. Condition B. So 100 days is more than 60 days. So 100 is more than or equal to 60. And last 4 years. So last 4 years is going to be 400 because 100, 100, 100. Okay. So 400 is greater than or equal to 365. So is going to be resident. Okay. And the moment you find that somebody is resident, then you have to think about whether that person is resident and ordinarily resident. So for that you will require that 7 years and 10 years data. Okay. So B5, B6, B7. Okay. This is also 100, 100, 100. So 700, 7 years you want, 700 and 730 days is the test. So that test is not going to satisfy. So additional condition, one of the additional condition, as I always told you that in the question, any such question, always first apply 730 days wala test first for your understanding purpose, because that is the simplest test. So that is not going to satisfy because 7 years is going to be 700 days because every year is 100. So that is not going to satisfy. So what is going to be your answer? That you are resident but not ordinarily resident. This is how orally I can easily and always calculate. But in examination condition, friends, you got to do little bit of presentation and kind of things. Okay. So question ID number 16. Come on. Let me write the answer. Question ID number 16. Okay. So previous year 100. Before year 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, B7. Or you can write many more number of years. Okay. So this is only for our analysis purpose. This is your stay in India. Conditions. A or B. Stay in India during the previous year greater than or equal to 182 days. Stay in India during the previous year greater than or equal to 182 days and stay in India 4 years preceding the previous year greater than or equal to 365 days. Sorry. This is 60 days. Okay. This is 60 days. Okay. That's the condition. Once you apply this, then you have to write conclusion. This conclusion will be with respect to the resident. Okay. So, come on, baby. This is 100. So, this is not satisfied. Okay. This is 100, which is greater than or equal to 60. That's okay. And 4 previous year is going to be 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100. Actual. So, that is going to satisfy. Condition B is going to satisfy. Okay. So, you can write by virtue of condition B, he shall be resident in India. Full stop. And once you have decided that he is resident in India, then you have to think forward. Then you have to go to the next level of understanding. And there you have to say resident and ordinarily resident or not. Okay. You have to write the next statement. Additional condition. 1 and 2. Okay. At least 2 out of 10 years preceding the previous year, he should be resident in India and stay in India in 7 years preceding the previous year to be greater than or equal to 730. But in the given question, it is 100 number of days for every year. So this is going to be 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So condition 2 is not going to satisfy. So I don't want to break my head with condition number 1. I don't want to do that. Is that okay? But even if you have to do it, you have to follow the same math. So by 100 days per year and every year, you are going to be resident every year. Because every year the status is the same, no? But we are not breaking our head. Okay. So both the conditions are not satisfied. That's the conclusion that we are developing. Okay. So both the conditions are not satisfied and thus will be resident and not ordinarily resident, and thus he shall be regarded as resident and not ordinarily resident. That's all. So that's the final words of this particular question. Look, have a final look of the answer, friends, that how does your answer entirely look like. Okay. So update your answer, friends, and let me go to the next question. Question ID number 21. Okay. B. An engineering graduate born and brought up in India got employment in USA on 1st August 2016. By what date he should leave India in order to become a non-resident? Good question. Good question. Friends, you read this particular question, take your own time, relax. If you want, you can have a cup of tea also. I have no objection. This is only a video class, so you can have that liberty. I have no objection. Correct. So, he is an engineering student born and brought up in India. The purpose, why this kind of language is used in the question. He is a person of Indian origin, or probably he is also citizen of India. So, a person of Indian origin or citizen of India. Moment you say that is engineering student, graduate, born, brought up in India, got employment in US. So, is going abroad for employment. So, once this situation is developed, that means a person of Indian origin going abroad for the purpose of employment. So, what is the conclusion? Condition B is not functional. Condition B not functional means you have to apply the test of 182 days. That's all. Okay. So, he has got a job on 1st August 2016. And now he has got only one test, friends. What is that test? Is 182 number of days. By what date he should leave India in order that he becomes non-resident? Correct? So, you got to toggle your mind, friends. Apply your mind. So, he wants to leave. It's like a managerial decision. He wants to leave the country such that he gets the status of non-resident. And why he wants? Why does somebody wants to become non-resident? Because then he will not be liable for global taxation in India. That will be our connecting chapter. Because non-resident people pay tax only on those income which is their Indian income. So their foreign incomes are not taxed in India. And that is one of the reasons this residential status chapter is important. And for our income tax purpose, friends, every chapter is important. It's not that. But I'm just telling you the connecting importance of this particular topic. Correct? So, see, he is a B engineering student. He got a job on 1st August. That means 1st April to 1st August. These many days so you already enjoyed in India. Okay, these many days so he has already enjoyed in India. Then how many balance number of days you can still enjoy in India? So take a non-resident status. You got to toggle your mind. You can take your own time, friends. You got to think. You got to think a little bit on this particular front. See, I'm giving you some hint, okay? Just watch it very carefully. What is the condition? I'm just writing the condition. Stay in India during the previous year should be greater than or equal to 182 days. If you stay in India for 182 days, you will become resident. So this is going to give you the status of resident. But he don't want the status of resident. He wants the status of non-resident. Have you understood that? So supposing if he stays in India, total stay. If his total stay in India is 182 days or more, then he will be resident. So if you want to become non-resident, how many days you can stay? You can stay in India for 181 days. See, our NRIs know. Our NRI people our Indian people who are abroad, basically, they think like that we can visit India for 6 months. Logically, they think like that. Why 6 months? They think about that 180 days. No, that's logical. They don't do, because see, they are not that professionals, no, and they are not that everyone studied taxation. So they are told that logically you can visit India for 6 months. For example, if somebody is abroad and their family is inside India, so you can come India to meet your family, but maximum 6 months you can come. In order to retain your status, if you want to continue the status of non-resident. That way government don't stop you that you can't come and stay in India. You can come. Vijay Mallya, government say you come. But Vijay Mallya is not coming. What to do? Is that okay? So if you want non-resident status, then 181 days. That's correct. Okay. So let me first of all make a small summary note on that. Question ID number is 21. Question ID number is 21. Okay. Sorry. Previous year 16, 17. Then understand how I am just going to write the note. Okay. Stay in India. Suppose it is 182 days or more. Suppose. Okay. So condition. Here condition B is not functional. So I am not thinking only from condition B point of view. Because he is Indian origin person and going abroad for the purpose of employment. So condition A. Okay. Now condition A. Stay in India during the previous year greater than or equal to 182 days, that means you are resident. But suppose if your stay is 181 days, suppose. Okay. Then, again I am just repeating the condition. Stay in India. Previous year, greater than or equal to 182 days. Okay. So if it is 181 days, then he will be non-resident. So in this case, he will be resident. In this case, he will be non-resident. Correct? Shall I? Now, working. He has already stayed in India from 1st April 2016 to 1st August 2016. He has already stayed in India. Because up to that date, he had no job, no. So, they were looking for the job. So, he was like a common man. So, let me calculate April, May, June, July, August. So, April is 30 days, May is 31, June 30, July 31, and August is only 1 day. So, total is 123 days. He has already stayed in India. Okay. Balance number of days he can stay in India. Okay. And his total number of days. Stay in India. Okay. So I'll just put it like this. This is 123 days. This is option 1. Option 2. Total 182 days. Total 181 days. This will give him a status of resident. This will give him the status of non-resident. Correct? So, if he stay for 59 days, balance number of days, then he will become resident. So, he should not stay for 59 days. He should go on 58th day. Because that 1 day difference will change his residential status. That's okay? So 58 days and 59 days. That 1 day difference will change his residential status. I guess that this is very clear. Now friends, you got to think little bit more. You got to think that on which date he should go. So he don't want to study this law. He says that you just give me the date. So now you have to calculate in the calendar date also, because see, still the answer is not over. See, what question is asking you is, by what date? You have to give the date. That if I have to book my tickets, for example, latest by what date I should book my tickets? This is what he wants to know. So we are telling him you stay 58 days. So he will say, yeah, who's going to calculate 58 days? You calculate and tell me the date. No. Correct. Because he is your client. You are a chartered accountant, for example. So you have to give the total service. No, you will say go after 58 days. So again he will have to apply his math. or 58 days, 59 days, he'll get confused. Correct. So, you have to calculate the date now. Okay. So, how are you going to calculate the date? Come on. Okay. So, from 2nd August, okay. So, he can stay in August, matlab August, September, October. So, supposing if we stay August full, so August is how many days? January, February, March, April, May, June, July. August is 31 days. Okay. August month is 31 days, but one day he has already calculated, no, because we are calculating from 2nd of August. So, entire month of August he can stay in India because he can stay for 58 days, no. So, that 30 days he can still, because 2nd August onwards that we are going to take the decision. Correct. Because he has already asked you question on 1st August. So, 1st August he has already stayed in India. So, now after 1st August, 2nd August, that means tomorrow. Okay. So, tomorrow if he wants, he can stay in India. There is no problem. So, from 2nd August to August end, that will give him 30 days stay. Okay. So, that will be 30 days. He can stay in India. September is how many months? September is 30 days. Okay. So, September, supposing if he stays 30 days, so my God, 30 plus 30 will become 60 days. No, we should stop him. No, you cannot stay here till 30 days. Sorry. Then it will become 60 days, no? So, no, less. Okay. So, you can stay here. You can stay here for 28 days. Total will become 58. September total number of days is 30 days. So, you can stay up to 28. So, if you take a departure on 28th of September, if you take the departure on 28th of September, so it's going to be how much? 58 more days? Because date of departure will also be included for the purpose of calculation, friends. So, that is going to be 28th September. But supposing if you got late by one day, if you go on 29th of September, then your number of days stay in India will become 59 and then your status will change. That one day difference will change your status. So, what is the advice that you have to give him? Okay, so you have to give him an advice. So, he should leave latest by 28th of September to be a non-resident. And condition B, is not functional. These two extra points that I have already brought up to your notice. So, 28th September is your last deadline. Keeping in mind 182 number of days. Come on, update your answer, sweetheart. Come on, baby. Okay, so that's a final look of your answer. Check it out. How does it work? Come on. Let me see the next question, or actually I'm in a mood to take a break now, but let me just check it out. Mr. B is a non-resident residing in New York, came back to India for living in India permanently. Okay, good question. Anyway, so this is already done. Okay, and in my next class, I will continue with here. Okay, so Thank you, friends. Take a break now. I'll just take a small break and continue thereafter. So next class I will start with this question ID number 22. Okay. Thank you, friends.